for WHPC to be the best radio station on Long Island in the Bethpage Best of Long Island Awards at bestoflongisland.com.
The voice of Nassau Community College.
This is the award-winning 90.3 WHPC HD Garden City.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Play WHPC.
And available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeart, and on the WHPC app.
90.3 WHPC.
.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. Welcome to another edition of From the Press Box, here live every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. This show becomes a podcast later on. My name is Rob Leonard. My co-host is my brother, Tim Leonard. Award-winning sports writer, an all-around nice brother, and a good guy. He's a good guy, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
He's, even though he's a jerk to me sometimes, as only my brother could be.
Never.
He's making fun of me because I put some stuff in the back seat. When you're driving, what are you going to do? Stop on the side of the road and throw your stuff in the back seat? No, you just throw it in the back seat. But, my brother's like, your back seat's disgusting. I go, no, it's not.
That's not how people handle things in real life, bro.
That's the way I handle it.
Maybe they put something in the back seat before they actually start driving. They don't
I have 4
they
CDs.
Don't
what am I
accumulate
supposed to?
stuff and just throw it, fling it into the back seat.
Sure they do.
They don't.
That's what Rob Leonard does. And I'm doing okay.
Yes, brother.
Anyway, as always, we're talking. And next week, we're going to have an interview. We're looking forward to next week's interview tremendously. Dave, how do you say his last name, brother?
Kindred, brother.
Kindred. Wrote a book called, My Home Team?
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the great American sports writers.
Yeah, so if everything works out, he'll be our guest next week. And
in the history of the craft, bro. I'm not going to call it a profession. It's a craft.
Hey,
the way Dave Kindred does it.
We had Hal Bach on a bunch of times, and he covered how many World Series for the UPI? I mean, just
NAP.
A lot. So
well, I'm not even going to try to put a number on it. It's probably at least in the 40s.
And I don't know if it's still this way, but in the old days, the AP and the UPI had the first and second seat in the press box.
Of course.
So,
they had to get in and get out the fastest.
Yeah. So they we should have him on again. He's still around. I talk to his son sometimes.
He's Al Bach?
On Facebook. Anyway, brother, I don't know where to start because, the Jets is such a sad story. Their defense plays good again. They hold the Falcons to 13 points. But the Jets can't score over 8 points.
Yeah, but the Falcons' offense is I don't want to say it's hot garbage like the Jets' offense is, because the Jets' offense is another level of hot garbage. But the Falcons' offense is not very good.
Yeah, but still, you think that the Jets' offense can score 2 touchdowns?
No.
With
two?
Two.
How about one?
With 2 extra points.
How about one touchdown?
Well, I don't know, man.
You know what? You know what really is frightening is that there actually are offenses out there that are worse than the Jets.
Isn't that sad?
Look no further than the New England Patriots, who can't even score a point.
Which is so great. It's so great. It is. You think about it.
And then they asked Bill Belichick yesterday, "Oh, do you want to coach the New England Patriots next year?" And Belichick was like, "I already answered that question. We're looking forward to next week."
Yeah, he's a jerk. As much as he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he should be because he's had some great teams, horrible coach. Horrible. Well, maybe not a horrible coach, a horrible person.
Yes.
With the media.
Good coach, very solid coach. Terrible with the media.
I think this year shows that, maybe his way of doing things was because he had some good players along.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. So anyway,
Tom Brady being vindicated.
Yeah, and of course Gronk, brother. Don't forget the greatness of the Gronk.
America's idiot.
Yes. Okay. The Jets lose to the Falcons 13-8.
13-8.
And the Falcons are in first place in the NFC South with a 6-6 record.
You remember the NFC East a few years ago, brother? 2-3 years ago. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
When the it might have been the Washington football team at that point, won the division with what might have been like an 8-8 record, 9-7 record. I forget what they were at the end of the season. But every team in that race was chasing mediocrity, as well as the division title.
Right.
And the now Commanders won the division that year. That was before the Eagles and the Cowboys decided to become good teams again. And, of course, the Giants have just basically resided in last place ever since.
Yep.
That is what the NFC South is right now. Atlanta Falcons are 6-6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5-7 and in second place.
Yep, and the New Orleans Saints are 5-7 also. This, whoever wins first place is going to play us, but the other teams aren't.
No.
So this is actually
And not only that, the team that wins the division gets a home game in the playoffs.
So this is actually a fun division to watch because it's so bad.
Bad is never good to watch, brother.
No, but it is if it's this close.
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
I'm not watching any of their games.
Well,
Not even close.
do you really want to watch the New Orleans Saints?
Yesterday, there was the Carolina Panthers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was on CBS. At the same time, the Eagles and the 49ers were on Fox.
Right.
You would have had to been an idiot to be watching CBS at that point.
Right.
An idiot. You had two teams capable of winning the Super Bowl playing against each other, and what wound up happening was a 49ers blowout,
Right.
which was a surprising development. A little bit. The 49ers have been playing really well lately. Or you have two teams that can barely play the game because they're so inept.
Yeah, well,
and they have no clue what they're doing. And those were your two NFL choices. And at the 4:00 hour, I guess it was.
yeah. Well, they.
No, thank you.
It's they haven't had it, so they eventually, brother. These national games or these 4:00 games, which tend to be national or at least dominant of the country.
Yes.
On both Fox and CBS. Eventually, you're going to start seeing changes where CBS and Fox can say, "Hey, we want a better game," or because it's like they do with Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football.
They can't. Yeah, but they can't do it that far in advance.
Well, no, they can't. But at the same time, it's something that they're paying billions of dollars for these TV rights.
Right. Well, I shouldn't say that far in advance. I should say that close to game time.
Right. Yeah. Well,
So I don't know.
I
I was happy. I watched Tottenham with a
geez.
last minute goal tie Manchester City yesterday. It was glorious.
We-
and then I had to watch bad football for 7 hours.
Well,
So it wasn't that after the glory. It wasn't that great.
sure. But anyway,
Not to mention the rain all day. But
yeah. So the Jets just they can't score.
Tim Boyle, brother.
Tim Boyle
didn't get the job done.
These guys who are second, third, fourth string, fifth string, 20th string, whatever.
No, there's only four strings.
I know that, brother.
It's like a bass.
I'm being sarcastic.
Think about a bass.
Yeah, I'm thinking about sarcasm.
I don't know
brother.
what instrument you're thinking of.
I'm
with
not.
20 strings.
I'm thinking about.
Sitar. Does that have 20 strings?
No.
What does it have? 2 strings?
No,
I have
I'm
idea.
thinking of the country harp or something, the audio harp.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I know. So you wouldn't know anyway. But you think a guy like Tim Boyle would say, you know what? This is my chance to prove I can do something. That's what I would.
He proved something a couple weeks ago when he threw the Hail Mary.
Right. It didn't work.
That's what he proved. Basically, here's my thing, brother, and here's what I was thinking while I was watching the Jets' ineptitude yesterday. Is they do not currently have a healthy quarterback capable of winning an NFL game unless that quarterback's name is Zach Wilson. And Jet fans, all they want to do is yap and shriek and squeal and moan. Zach Wilson, we can't. No, he's your only chance. Tim Boyle's not getting it done.
Nope.
Trevor Siemian is an aging rapidly guy they signed off the scrap heap the other day or a couple weeks ago. Just let Zach Wilson play and let him do whatever he's going to do. At least you have a chance to develop this kid, and at some point maybe it happens for him. But you can't keep sending him to the bench and saying, well, you're not getting it done. Maybe this guy who was never drafted and never did anything in his life, Tim Boyle, maybe he can do it. They want everybody to be this Tommy DeVito kid. And even DeVito, I'm still I'm still not 100% convinced that he's ever going to amount to anything past next week.
I agree with that, but he's already got it, nicknamed Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, well,
you got to remember, brother. Thing about Tommy DeVito is North Jersey Italian. Like, there's a ton of them.
Fans love him.
I know.
For the Giants, it's perfect because it distracts everybody from all the losing and all the garbage going on and the lousy season. Now, I tell you what.
Got a good story there.
You know what? It's a great story.
Yep.
Like I said, it distracts from the negativity.
Yep.
And I forget where it was, but Tommy DeVito jerseys have soared. The jersey sales have soared.
That doesn't.
Jerseys are flying off the shelves,
That
brother.
doesn't bother me.
Well, you know what? It's great for the Giants. It's great for the kid. I hope he's making money off of that, too.
Anything that has their name on it, they get a percentage.
Well, good. Then the kid will get a nice check. But these people, by the time next year comes around, they're going to be wearing DeVito jerseys. He might not even be on the team.
Right. It's like when the Jets got Brett Favre and everyone got their Favre jersey, and then Favre's gone a year later, and everyone's still wearing their Favre jerseys. Like, come on. Change it to something else. Change it to a 1 before the 4, and then put Richard Todd on it or something.
I would rather, at this point, I'll tell you what, I'd rather have a DeVito jersey than a Daniel Jones jersey.
Yeah, I would too. And you don't know what's going to happen this whole thing with the Giants, and they had the week off, so this was actually good for because there was no bad game to report about. So
well, but anyway, brother, where I was going, I would love to hear from Jet fans. Here goes my microphone again.
516-572-7440.
Because all you Jet fans that were griping and talking, we got to get rid of Zach Wilson. Anybody except Zach Wilson.
Well,
is this what you wanted? Is 8 points what you wanted? The Jets got a safety.
Right.
That was 25% of their scoring yesterday. 2 field goals.
Well, the defense is
the getting to the end zone and the red zone for the Jets offense has been historically bad this year.
So the red zone network, which the NFL has, if you want, you can just watch the red zone. Anyone in the 20-yard line, close to a touchdown, they put on their channel.
Yes, good explanation, bro.
You can't see the Jets on that channel.
The Jets basically are incognito on Red Zone Network. So, but this is what insane Jet fans have been screaming about. Get rid of Zach. Get rid of Zach. Get rid of Zach. You know what? He's still the second best quarterback on your roster.
Well, I would have put him back in.
They can't. He's designated third string. The only way he can come in is if somebody else gets hurt.
Really?
Yes, he can't play.
That's stupid.
It's a stupid rule, but it's a rule.
That's a stupid rule.
So unless somebody gets hurt, he could not enter the game. He was in uniform yesterday. I saw him, but he was not allowed to play. So at this point, all this nonsense about Aaron
Rodgers. Does he wear
Rodgers,
the cap at least?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Quarterback doesn't play. They always wear the cap.
Okay, just check.
At this point, all the nonsense about Aaron Rodgers potentially coming back, there's no way. I mean, Aaron Rodgers could play the last game of the season if he chooses to and if he's healthy enough to.
No way.
But
no way.
It wouldn't make any sense.
No way.
Because the game isn't going to mean anything. There's the Jets, we've said this already. I'm fairly certain. Well, I don't want to say no. I think the Jets will win one more game this year. And I'm going to tell you, they're going to win that last game against New England. And it's going to be one of the worst games in NFL history because the Jets probably will win that game.
I don't know. That Giants-Jets game earlier in the season was horrible, brother.
It's going to be worse than that.
That was a horrible game.
It's going to be worse than that game. Trust me on this. The Jets will beat the Patriots 9-6. Wow. Unless it's 9-8. Wow. Because they get a safety. And by that game, don't be surprised if Zach Wilson is starting quarterback again. Because what is Saleh going to do? Unless they've already made the decision to say, all right, you know what, we're done with Zach. And if they think they can get something for him at the end of the season, then he won't play because they don't want him to get hurt. And maybe they can get a draft pick or two for him, like 6th round pick or something, something along those lines. They're obviously never going to get anything close to a first rounder for him.
No,
obviously, it's not even a part of the conversation. But they will if they can get something for him. If there's a team out there that likes some part of Zach Wilson enough to say, oh, you know what, we'll give you a fifth rounder for him.
I think a fifth
because they think they can still develop him. No, you know what? The opinion of a general manager or a coach is this, brother. Would you be able to get a quarterback in the fifth round who you would want to start a game next year? Now, the problem is if you trade for Zach Wilson, you have to take on his contract, and you wouldn't be paying a fifth rounder the kind of money that Zach Wilson's making as a number 2 overall pick. But would you want somebody on your roster who you know can play in the NFL? Maybe not so well, but you know he can play.
Right.
And
right.
you know the moment wouldn't be overwhelming for him. That's what you would get if you decide. That's what you would get if you decided to pick Zach, or if you decided to trade for Zach Wilson and give up a fifth round pick. Because if you use that fifth round pick on a quarterback, you're getting a middling quarterback.
I just, at this point, you said it right. Might as well put Zach in there. Tim and Trevor did nothing. They're not signing Colin Kaepernick.
Nobody is. I don't know why.
I don't, but you know what I mean.
I know, but I mean, it's almost worth signing him just to say, all right, hey, go do your thing. And let's see what happens. Colin Kaepernick, he would be a disaster with the Jets, I think, just because their offensive line is awful.
Yeah.
And he needs time to do his read and react kind of thing and the whole RPO and whatever, but he needs a little bit of time to make a decision, whereas Jets quarterbacks spend half the time running for their lives.
Oh, God, yeah.
And I saw New England yesterday. It was even worse. I mean, New England's offense really is the only reason that it's not getting more attention is because the Jets have been so lousy,
Yeah.
and most of the national media has been watching the Jets because they're in New York.
Yeah, that's right.
So anyway, brother, just bookkeeping here at this point. The Falcons got the only touchdown of the game yesterday when quarterback Desmond Ridder threw a 20-yard pass to Mike Hull Pruitt. What a name. In the second quarter, and that was it. Falcons scored 10 points in the second quarter. That was the game.
Yep.
Jets got a safety in the first quarter, a field goal each in the second and third quarter, and that was it for their pathetic offense. Boyle was intercepted by Jesse Bates at the end of the third quarter. That was a terrible ball. That was the one where Garrett Wilson had to grab Bates and fling him out of bounds because it was. How does he not see the safety? How does he not? He's looking at Wilson the entire time, never looks him off once, and here, as soon as he lets the ball go, Jesse Bates just cruises over. He's playing center field.
Yeah, well.
It was ridiculous. What a horrible decision. What a horrible pass.
Okay.
Boyle, 14 for 25, 148, and an interception. Trevor Siemian, 5 for 13 for 66 yards, and fumbled 3 times.
Well, yeah.
Lost one of them.
Continue the tradition. Let's talk about college football, brother, because you have a lot of notes about what's going on in college football.
Oh, that's crazy, college football.
One of the problems with college football is they have a playoff system that really, let's be honest, as long as they have the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl and all the other big bowls, you can't have a playoff system.
Sure you can.
You can't.
Sure you can.
How do you do it?
Well, I don't understand the question. What do you mean, how do you do it? You do it like they do it.
But, the Rose Bowl likes to think that it's the top one to play for.
You switch them, brother. That's what they do. They rotate them.
Yeah, that's...
Every year they rotate them, and the bowls are happy with that because once every couple of years, they're the big game. They're happy with that. So
wouldn't you rather be the big game every year?
Well, who knows if you're going to be able to get the big game every year? First of all, the Rose Bowl, it's usually the Pac-10 champion. It goes to the Rose Bowl automatically.
Right.
Well, the Pac-10 isn't going to exist after this season.
Okay.
So that's a problem.
Well, bring back the Pac-9.
It's right now it's the Pac-2. So it's not happening.
Okay.
You got UCLA and USC joining conferences in the Midwest, which is ridiculous, but that's college sports at this point. Anyway, brother, on Sunday, it was decided that the 4 teams that will be involved in the national championship playoff will be Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama.
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a shocker. Now, This means that undefeated ACC champion Florida State, with their 13-0 record, is out, which is just lousy. I understand what the committee did and why they did it.
But
good butt, brother, it still stinks. And here's what happened, all right? They did their meeting, and apparently, and this is according to College Football Playoff Selection Committee Chair Boo Corrigan, another great name.
Boo?
Boo. Yeah, you think he's from the South?
Maybe.
He is the athletic director at North Carolina State. The people that they met with, the people in the committee, apparently the question that Boo kept asking people, and because several of these people were former coaches, and he kept saying, which team would you not want to face? That was his way of gauging which team was the more appropriate one to, and basically the choice was between Alabama or Florida State. And more of the people in the room said that they would rather not face Alabama currently because Florida State this past weekend was playing with their third-string quarterback.
Okay. Because
their first-string quarterback got hurt a few weeks ago. He broke his leg.
Ow.
That was the kid Travis. Broke his leg against, North Alabama or something. Oh, what a ridiculous game to even schedule late in the season. But because
maybe that's why they're not in. You've played North Alabama.
No. But he broke his leg in that game, and because of that, then the backup is Tate Rodemaker had a concussion in Florida State's regular season finale win over Florida. That meant that true freshman Brock Glenn, third stringer, he can't be more than 19 years old. But he actually played fairly well against Louisville. It was a rough game to watch because there wasn't a whole lot of offense. But they beat Louisville, which is a good team. And because Glenn or Rodemaker was going to be the start, Travis is out. He's got a broken leg. He's not going to be healthy for a while. But because of that, the decision was made to put Alabama in after Alabama beat Georgia, which was number one coming into the weekend. Alabama beats Georgia by 3 points. All right, for the SEC title.
Okay.
And Georgia drops from number 1 to number 6 on a 3-point loss. It's unbelievable what the manipulation that's been going on with this. I mean, here's the deal. Because you have to look at it in a couple of ways. Michigan and Washington were your locks. Undefeated, conference champions, clearly two of the best teams in the country. So when you start there, and you're only dealing with 4 teams anyway, all right, Michigan undefeated, fine, they beat Ohio State, great, you're in. You're number 1 team in the country. You're a lock. Washington, same deal. Undefeated, Pac-10 champion, won every game you're supposed to win, and have played a lot of good teams. You're in. Well, now it gets tricky. Because now the committee probably wants to reward Alabama. Alabama's got a huge following. So they, they're going to get preferential treatment.
Right.
But Texas beat Alabama early in the season.
Okay.
And head-to-head results should count.
I agree.
So I'm pretty sure, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm pretty sure the committee was saying, we can't put Alabama in if we don't put Texas in because Texas beat Alabama. How do we justify that?
You can't.
You can't, exactly. So based on that, Texas is in, even though they had one loss, and they lost to Oklahoma in the whatever the game is that they play every year. This is how little we pay attention to college football in New York.
Yeah.
So Texas is in now, and now it comes down to Alabama, Florida State, and to a lesser extent Georgia, which is basically eliminated because they lost to Alabama. So it just became which team did the committee think would be more competitive? But that's not what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about what you do in the regular season. Florida State won every game they played. They can't do any better than they did.
Right.
Yet somehow it was still not good enough. This is a Power 5 conference.
Well, that's one of the problems with the whole football. It's with the NCAA. There's a thing I like about it. Each conference, whoever wins the conference goes to the NCAAs, whether they're good or bad. You can be Iona, you can be St. John's.
You're talking basketball.
Basketball.
All right.
But I like that because they take care of their own conference first, and then they put them into the 64, now 68, or whatever, 69 now? 69 teams? Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's 69.
Yeah, so they put them in there, and they say, okay, you guys we have a month to figure out who the champion is. And with football, it's just the opposite. They don't go by championship winning their division championship. They say, okay, we want to win, and then we go to the Rose Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl.
Well, they do to a certain extent. Since the playoff was started, brother, that is basically what has happened. Florida State is this is the first time an undefeated conference champion was not selected as one of the 4 teams in the final.
And there's no NIT they can go to,
no,
right?
Of course not. No, they're gonna wind up playing Georgia in which bowl was it? It's in the notes, brother.
The Georgia-Florida State Line Bowl?
No. Oh my God.
No, there's a band called the Florida Georgia State Line or something.
It was terrible.
Thank you. I thought it was funny.
Terrible.
You have not, like you said, no sense of humor from you.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so Florida State will wind up playing Georgia in here it is, the Orange Bowl. So they will go to Florida. They'll go to Florida and play.
Okay.
But you now have a situation where, first of all, it usually doesn't happen this way. I'll say that. Because usually in the last few years, or more or less since they started this college football playoff thing, there's been a fairly clear 4 teams.
Okay.
This year there was not. Now, next year they're talking about making it a 12-team playoff, which would be way better than the mess that we have now.
But that takes how many weeks?
Doesn't matter.
Well, yes, it does.
You have 8 teams playing in the first week. You got 4 teams that get byes. Then those 8 play. Then there's 8 left.
There's 2 weeks, and there's a third week, and then it's like 4 weeks.
Yeah, so what?
That's a lot. It's not like
nobody cares.
Yeah,
they're making money.
If the players aren't making money,
Yeah, they are. They're getting NIL deals now, brother. The players are now making money.
But that not a.
They're not making NFL money.
They're not making.
Shador Sanders is making a lot of money,
but they're not making real money.
Yeah, Shador Sanders has bought himself like a Bentley or something. It's ridiculous how much money that kid is making off of NIL. He's making millions.
He should hold on to it.
He should, because, you
don't know what's going to happen.
Look, his father's got money too, so whatever. So the point being that the decision that was made, again, I get why it was made. It was made for the wrong reasons. How do you not include an undefeated conference champion in your final 4 teams when 2 of the teams that are included have losses? And I heard the explanation. I wish I could credit whoever it was who said it, but I didn't catch his name. He said, and this was on ESPN, he said there are coaches. Nick Saban can go to his players and say, well, we lost this game, and this is what we can do better to give ourselves a better chance to get to the playoffs next year and go undefeated. And Steve Sarkisian at Texas can say, well, guys, we had a really great season, especially second half of the season, and but we had that one loss, and here's what we can do better so that we can be undefeated next season and make sure that we go to the playoff. Well, what does the Florida State coach say to his team, Mike Norvell? He's going to say, guys, we did everything we could. We won every game we played. There's nothing we can do better.
We got screwed. That's what he's going to say.
So, the quote from Mike Norvell, he was understandably livid.
I would be too, brother.
He said, quote, he is disgusted and infuriated with Florida State becoming the first unbeaten Power 5 conference winner to ever miss out on college football playoff. So this is a quote. I am disgusted and infuriated with the committee's decision today to have what was earned on the field taken away because a small group of people decided they knew better than the results of the games.
Yep.
What is the point of playing games? Do you tell players it is okay to quit if someone goes down? Do you not play a senior on senior day for fear of injury? Where is the motivation to scheduling challenging non-conference games?
Yep.
Does any of that not make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense to me.
Exactly. So I feel bad for Florida State. Again, the committee was in a bad situation. I don't think they did themselves any favors with the decision that they made. I understand why they made the decision. If they pick Florida State as the 4 team and they go to Michigan and they lose by 30, then Alabama fans are going to scream.
Yep.
Georgia fans are going to scream. You're going to have the southern half of the United States or the southeast chunk of the United States screaming all kinds of, "What's y'all's problem? Y'all hate us." It'd be a whole lot of y'alls.
Y'alls.
So it would
become southern now, bro.
It would that I understand they don't want to rile up those people and you want to try and get representation, but at the same time, like Norvell said, you earn it on the field. That's what college football is supposed to be about. If you go undefeated, you're supposed to get rewarded. You're not supposed to get screwed.
Right, and this is why they run up scores, too, to show how many points they get.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. But, I mean, that to me has always been the lousy part of the game. But, and the Travis kid, he apologized on Twitter. He said he was sorry for breaking his leg. I mean,
not his fault.
I feel so bad for the kid because, it's not your fault you broke your leg. It happens. Don't apologize for getting hurt. I mean, you didn't have anything to do with it. You got hurt. It happens when you play football.
Yep.
But, oh, man.
No, I felt bad.
It's a mess. It really is a mess. And just so people know, it's going to be Michigan against Alabama in the Rose Bowl and Washington against Texas in the Sugar Bowl. Both of those semifinal games will be played on New Year's Day and will air on ESPN, and the national championship game will be a week later.
Okay, well, I think, this is something that maybe next year or the year after they can fix.
Well, 12-team playoff will fix it.
Well, that's the way of fixing it.
Because look, you're going to have the best 11 teams in the country, and then there's going to be one non-Power 5 team in there.
Right.
To like this year, it would have been Liberty. Because Liberty is ranked 23rd in the country, and they're the best non-Power 5 team out there.
Liberty meaning?
Liberty University.
In Virginia?
I don't know where it is.
Where Falwell?
I'm pretty sure it's Falwell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Falwell College.
Wow.
But they have a good team. And they want at least one of those schools to be represented. Otherwise, it's just going to be, the top 4 or 5 conferences. Every all of the teams will come from them. They want one underdog team to be represented. So this year, because they did the bracket, what the bracket would have looked like, and Liberty would have been the 12 team. So I think that's a great idea. I think you have to give everybody something to shoot for. It's not just about Power 5 conferences.
Well, sure.
So from that standpoint, and you're not going to have, or at least I don't think you shouldn't have the team that is number 11 griping about not being in the playoff picture.
Well,
because the team that's number 11 is going to have at least one loss, if not 2.
I prefer the way they do the basketball, but you can't do that with the football. It doesn't work. It doesn't work the same.
You can't run a football tournament,
but it works
for
better.
2 months.
It works better with the way they do it. You division, and then you go to the big thing, and you take it from there.
I get what you're saying, brother, but you can play basketball every other day.
That's why.
You can't play football every other day.
I know that, brother. We're going to take a break right now. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard. We would love to hear from you. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. When we get back, we'll be talking about baseball.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe of West Hempstead and Glen Oaks. Locations include 474 Hempstead Turnpike in West Hempstead and 259-15A Union Turnpike in Glen Oaks. And coming soon to Sufton Boulevard and Archer Avenue in Jamaica, Queens, too. Tropical Smoothie Cafe offers made-to-order smoothies, wraps, sandwiches, and flatbreads. More information about how you can get yourself on Tropic Time time at Tropical Smoothie Cafe in West Hempstead, Glen Oaks, and coming soon to Jamaica, Queens. Can be found at 516-427-5109 or online at tropicalsmoothiecafe.com.
Your WHPC weather forecast, powered by Pantano's Gourmet, with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. Currently outside, it's looking outside, it's a little cloudy. It's about 52 degrees.
More than a little cloudy.
A little cloudy? Okay. Well,
Definitely cloudy.
Well, we have
not a lot of sun out there.
we have the blinds in front of us. Can't really see that one.
I can see.
Okay, good.
I'm leaning.
Good to hear. So it's 52 degrees outside, partly cloudy. And tonight it's going to be, actually it's a pretty good night for tonight. It's going to be cloudy again, but it goes down to about 39. Cool. So that's a pretty good night. And tomorrow,
good about that.
It'll be even better. It's going to start off at 41 and get better. Currently outside the studios here at Nassau Community College, it's 51 degrees. My name is Rob Leonard. This is from the Press Box. He is Tim Leonard. Give us a call, 516-572-7440. Let's talk baseball, brother. First of all, our good friend Darren DeVivo on Facebook was really happy about the Mets signing Luis Severino.
Severino, brother, yes.
That's what I said, didn't
It
I?
was close enough.
Okay, close enough. To a 1-year, $13 million contract.
Risk.
I'm not sure. $13 million.
So much risk.
But you know what? Everyone talks about how rich Steve Cohen is, and he is. But that doesn't mean he wants to be giving out $13 million. You know, people got to stop saying, well, he's rich, so it doesn't matter if it doesn't work out.
It does.
It does matter because
why?
we want to win.
Exactly. If it doesn't work out, your team isn't good. If let's look at it this way. I personally, it's a high risk, high reward kind of signing for the Mets.
Why is that, brother?
Because Luis Severino, for the last at least 3 years, keeps getting hurt. He's been an injury waiting to happen. Last year, his record, to say Severino had a rough 2023 is an understatement. He was 4-8 with a 6.65 ERA in 18 starts, and that's with an assortment of injuries,
right?
That put him on the injured list. It was 2 or 3 times. So that was just last season. How many times he was on the injured list?
Right.
Never mind all the other times from the previous few seasons. Now, the reason I like this signing for the Mets is if Luis Severino can stay healthy and be the guy he was for the Yankees in 2018, 2019, when he was a Cy Young candidate,
right?
Then the Mets have a bargain.
I think you know what? After last season, this is a bargain. You got to take a chance on a guy like this after last year, the explosion of the 2 superstars that they got.
What are you talking about?
The Mets, the pitchers.
Names, brother. Are you talking about? Are you talking about Verlander and Scherzer?
Yeah.
They didn't get Scherzer last year. He was there.
Well,
right?
yeah, whatever. He was already there.
I'm trying to follow along, brother.
Don't. No. But I'm talking about Verlander.
Yes, all right.
Okay.
But it wasn't an explosion, whatever that means. Verlander pitched pretty well after missing the first month of the season because of an injury. He didn't explode. He was just they decided that, hey, it's pretty stupid to pay these guys $40 million a year when we're 18 games under 500 or 12 games under 500, whatever it was. They were under 500. So I will say this for the end of time. I think the Mets did good things last year at the trade deadline, even though Met fans were panicked and squealing and crazy and, oh, my God, we're never going to catch the Marlins.
Not last year.
So, like I said, if Severino can stay healthy, but that's a big if, massive if, then the other thing was, I forget who it was. I can't remember who said it. Somebody said that Severino was tipping his pitches last year.
Okay.
So that is something that's pretty correctable. In fact, it's very correctable. So if the Mets pitching coach can just get with him, get him into a routine so that he's not tipping pitches, then that will improve Severino immediately. Because the kid still has stuff. He still throws a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. And he throws it deep into games, but he has to get deep into games.
Right.
There were games last year with Severino. I mean, I remember, I think it was against Minnesota. He gave up 9 runs in the first inning. It was ridiculous. It was like the game's over. I don't even need to watch the rest of this game. It's over. It's not happening for the Yankees tonight. So my entire watch time for that game was like 32 minutes because that's how long it took the Yankees to get out of the first inning. 9-0. Goodbye. I'm done.
Okay, well, you gotta try, and I think the Mets getting him is trying. It's going to be a fun year because it's the Mets. Let's be honest.
That makes no sense.
Sure it is. Met fans always think positive, brother. You know that.
Oh, stop.
The Met fans are always,
Met fans are always talking about how the sky is falling.
It might be. You never know.
So, all right. Anyway, brother.
Sometimes it does fall.
Anyway, the winter meetings are kicking off. In fact, they're going on right now as we speak. There's winter meetings.
I'm surprised they still have them. You know what it is?
This is the best time of the year. This is when trades happen. We're going to find out this week if the Yankees are actually going to get Juan Soto.
Right.
And I'm curious. I'm here for that, brother. I want to see it happen, but I want to see it happen with the Yankees signing Juan Soto to an extension. I want to see Juan Soto be a Yankee for the next 12 or 13 years.
Will they sign him for that much money, though, brother?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I know they'll want to.
Hey, by the way, they figure out their analytics yet? Remember they said, we're going to find out where our analytics didn't work last year.
No.
The whole Hal Steinbrenner.
They're still working on that.
Yeah, of course.
Still working on it.
What's going on with that?
I don't know. They need to let Aaron Judge do more.
Let him hit. Let him hit.
Oh, Aaron Judge hits. That's not the problem. He needs Juan Soto in front of him hitting. Either that or have Juan Soto behind him hitting. One or the other. In fact, yeah, that would be better actually. Put Judge second and put Soto third.
But you give Soto, who's 25, a 15-year deal, brother? No.
I would certainly give him a 12-year deal.
I'd give him a 10-year deal.
I wouldn't even think twice about a 12-year deal.
10-year deal. $30 million.
He's going to want more. No, $30 million a year. Aaron Judge makes $40 million a year.
Okay, well then $40 million a year.
Soto has already turned down 15 years for $440 million from the Nationals.
Right.
And while yes, I know that does sound like a massive amount of money because it is a massive amount of money. If you do the math on that, it's not even $30 million a year.
I know. That's why I said $30 million.
And that's why he turned it down, was because by the time that contract would have ended, he would have been so grossly underpaid that it would have been sickening. Now, I think if the Yankees do pull off this trade, I think what they have to tell Juan Soto is, we'll give you 13 years for $500 million, and do that, and say, because that's in the neighborhood of, I got to do the math. If that's under $40 million. I don't know that you can pay Soto more than you pay in Judge. Judge is your captain. Judge is your face of your franchise. I don't know that you can pay Soto more than him. I'm sure Judge wouldn't care because he's already got his money. Right. But you have to lock this guy up for what you're going to give to get him. It's got to be for more than 1 year.
Right.
So
we'll see. Anyway, brother, we have Joe from upstate New York calling in. Joe, how you doing, man? Welcome back. We haven't heard from you in a while.
Yeah. How you doing, Rob? How you doing, Tim?
Hey, Joe.
Enjoying the show.
Thank you.
I was going to go down the Giant Jet rabbit hole, but since you moved over to
baseball,
don't do that to us.
We don't want to waste too much time,
Yeah, who's the quarterback this turn, right? But anyway, you're talking about. I heard you just talking about the Soto thing. First question, Tim. What are you willing to give up?
That's the question. And apparently the trade, I mean, first of all, the A.J. Preller, the Padres GM, his first ask was ludicrous. He wanted Drew Thorpe, he wants Michael King, he wants Spencer Jones. The amount of players that he wants and the quality of players that he wants for 1 year of Juan Soto, no, I'm sorry, that's not happening. And the reason that they need to trade him is because now the Padres signed a bunch of guys over the last couple of years. They have a ton of guaranteed no-trade contracts. Xander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, I want to say Yu Darvish. I don't even know if he's one of them. There's another hitter. So they're in a bad situation contract-wise, and they want to cut payroll. They want to cut $50 million off of payroll from last year. So, the Yankees don't. I mean, the Padres are motivated to trade Soto because he's the only guy they have who is a star of that caliber who can bring back a return, but they can't sign him. They don't have the money to sign him. And like I said, they want to reduce payroll by $50 million. To sign Juan Soto, you're going to have to increase payroll by $50 million. So that's not happening. So I think Cashman is going to wait this out. I know that the Blue Jays have been mentioned as a possible suitor in this deal. I don't know that that's real because I don't know that the Blue Jays have the caliber of prospects that it would take to land Juan Soto. But I think the Yankees, I would assume they'll probably try to include Clark Schmidt, probably at least one or two of the pitching prospects that have been mentioned, the guy Chase Hampton. I think they're going to try to hang on to Thorpe. In fact, Cashman, I'm pretty sure, has said as much that Thorpe is not going to be in this deal. But I think you have to identify who are the guys that you like the best. Right. Because Volpe's not in the deal, Dominguez is not in the deal. Those guys, those real top 4 or 5 prospects, aren't going to be in this trade. Now it could be 5, 6, 7 or something like that. It's going to be a high. The Padres will still get back good prospects, and like I said, if Clark Schmidt, but Michael King's not going to be in this deal because I think the Yankees see him as a guy who they're going to transition him to a starter next season. I think they see him as like a possible number 2 or 3 starter. He pitched really well when he started last year. His ERA was just over 2, and he really he showed what he could do as a starter, and it was very impressive.
He was great, no question. And then over to Rob, the Mets are making some strategic moves, huh?
They are, but is it that exciting? Because the Mets have already said 2024. It's not our year. They've already sort of said that. So, it's kind of tough to get behind the Mets when they're already telling you, well, look forward to 2025. So,
Joe, did you hear about the Kelenic deal?
The who?
Kelenic. Remember Jared Kelenic, the Mets super prospect who they traded to the Mariners for? He's now an Atlanta Brave.
Oh, jeez.
The Braves traded for him last night. That's what kicked off the winter meetings. I tell you what, as much as it kills me to say this, Alex Anthopoulos of the Braves, he is undoubtedly the best GM in the game right now. He's the guy playing chess. Everybody else is playing checkers. He gets Jared Kelenic from the Mariners. He takes on two odious contracts and gives the Mariners a couple of prospects. Put Kelenic, who has become more of a power hitter. When he was a minor leaguer, he was an average guy. He was a 300 hitter. If he can figure out how to be that guy in the major leagues and put that in the Braves lineup, how many home runs did the Braves hit last year? They were crazy.
Oh my God, yeah.
So add him into that and let him feed off of all that Olsen, Acuna, Albies, what's the center fielder's name? Michael Harris. The lineup is as deep as any in baseball, and now you're putting Jared Kelenic in there. It's all right, go crazy, kid.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Rob, I'll say this to your point about saying for 2025 or whatever. It's not a bad thing. I mean, I almost wish, and we've talked about this in previous discussions, I think, on the show. Talk about building for the future, building that team. And, I've joked to you guys about the fire and trade brigade, the Yankee fans, quote unquote, as I call them, and Tim's talked about them ad nauseum.
Right.
There's got to be kind of a happy medium in there. That's part of
you know what? If I agree with you about building a team up and getting behind a team, but you can't be charging all these expensive prices because you have to come up with some sort of deal where maybe 2024. I don't know if the prices have gone up this year. They shouldn't at least.
Most likely.
I hope they haven't because last year, they shouldn't base it on that.
It would be bad PR to raise prices after last season.
But, they raise money or they raise prices because, they sort of have to. They have to pay off debts or whatever. So it's, you want people to come to the stadium. So if the Mets are going to, you want them to embrace this team. It's like starting in '83 with the Mets, if you remember that. That was sort of the beginning of the embracement of what became the '84 team, the '85 team, and then, of course, the world champions in the '86. And Mets fans were waiting. If there was a wild card in '85, we would have been in. '84 was a very close season. So, and Met fans didn't mind because they saw an ascension. So, if you see that with the Mets this year, that'd be great. But, the Braves and the Marlins, you can't be in third place and expect everyone to go crazy for you.
The Marlins need to get bats, but their pitching is enviable.
Yeah.
But you're looking at a division where, for my purposes, it's not the worst thing in the world for the Mets to kind of kick the can down the road for a year, because you look at the Braves. And I've said it before on this show, is that team is going to be around for the next 5 years, 6 years. I mean, they're loaded, they're young. Everybody is signed, and when they're like, I mean, the how they got rid of Mike Soroka and Kyle Wright, two guys who had been pretty vital to that team at one point, and they just unloaded them, but they have guys to replace them already. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying Anthopoulos has done just a spectacular job with that franchise, absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Tim, we talked in the summer, I think, about it. The Yankees this year, I mean, unwatchable. They're just like
it was garbage. It was garbage.
Giants
it really was.
Jets. I mean, it's just terrible.
It was that level. I mean, obviously the record isn't as bad comparatively, but watching the Yankees just absolutely stumble to an 82-80 record, it was painful to watch.
If you want, just Joe,
the offense was dreadful.
Just talking about financials, the Braves have a holding stock that is part of the Liberty, John Malone, when they bought out Turner and everything.
Buy it.
Right now it's at $40.84. It was a high of $46. But if you go down to like 2020, it was like $18. So
it doubled.
Yeah. So I'm not, it might be a time to buy Brave stock. Right now also, and I used to work for AMC. I still technically can. They're connected to MSG. MSG stocks are very good right now. And the Rangers are in first place, and the Knicks are doing well. So, there's not many publicly held stocks out there. The Mets don't have one. But, it might be time to buy the Braves, because the next 5 years they're going to be pretty good. So I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying it might be.
This is becoming a one-stop shop here with this show. I'll tell you, the funny thing is, though, and on the other hand, with all these teams, we can say, well, you could almost put the same garbage lineups out there for both the Yankees and the Mets, I suppose you could say, and they could be totally different. They could not tank. Something would happen. Lightning would strike.
Well, last year they should have been better, and they weren't. So,
and I'm not somebody who. I know there are a lot of people out there who are saying that, well, if the Yankees get Juan Soto, they're going to completely change their lineup. Well, no, they're not. It's one spot in the lineup that will be vastly improved, yes, but one more player in what was not a deep lineup is only going to marginally help things.
Yeah.
Well, one more thing, and I'll let you guys go. I saw that pickup of that guy from Cleveland, and it was funny. I saw something on social media. Somebody said, "Yeah, that's this year's replacement for Franchi Cordero."
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember his name because you just said it, and I remember reading it the other day. But they picked him up on Oscar Gonzalez, I think his name was.
Something like that.
Yeah, but he's the guy. He had a hit in a playoff game, and that's basically the only thing he's done in the major leagues. His batting average is .212. He's going to be a fifth outfielder if he even makes the team. It's a fun story to write for the offseason because he actually did something against the Yankees at some point. So it's one of those stories. But don't expect this guy to have any impact. Because he won't.
Joe, we appreciate you calling. We got to cut you off. We're coming to the end of the show. Call next week. We appreciate it, man.
Have a good day.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe, from Albany, right here on 90.3 WHPC. Coming up next at 10 o'clock, They call him Big Ed for many reasons. Find out why. Listen to Big Gold. Big Gold. Good Gold.
Good goal. It's a big show.
It's a big show. Right here on 90.3 WHPC. And don't forget, brother, Jewish Talk every Sunday at 8 a.m. Rabbi Pearl thinks in Jewish but speaks in English, featuring talk about issues affecting the Jewish community. That's Jewish Talk every Sunday at 8 a.m. Right here on 90.3 WHPC. We should mention, brother, that Jim Leland, who's been a manager for seemingly forever and won the 1997 World Series title with the Marlins, is going into the Hall of Fame. Not a surprise there. One of the great quarterbacks, one of the great managers, of all time. 78 years old, man. He was
selected by the Contemporary Baseball Era Committee, which used to be called the Veterans Committee.
Right.
But he got 15 out of 16 votes on the ballot. He needed to get 12. Lou Piniella, a name that Yankee fans obviously know, got 11 votes.
You know what?
So he missed by one. And Bill White, another name the Yankee fans know, the former National League president, was listed on 10 ballots. So they both just missed.
Both of them are getting in not for their playing, though. That's the sad part.
Well, I mean, Lou Piniella was not a Hall of Fame player. He was a very good player,
player.
Between what he did as a player and what he did as a manager, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's it's a combination.
And
same with Bill White.
Same for White.
Bill White was an announcer. He was the NL president. He played very well for a St. Louis Cardinals team.
Absolutely.
So there's a thing there. Quickly, brother, we have 2 minutes. Will someone teach the Islanders that it's a 3-period game, not a 2-period game?
Well,
because these guys think the second period it's over. And you know what?
If only.
I'm sick and tired of seeing the number 4 in front of any number to indicate how many shots happened against the New York Islanders. 40 shots is way too much for the Islanders to be giving up.
I remember when the Islanders cared about defense, brother. Let's put it this way. The Islanders early last week had a 4-2 lead on the Devils going into the third period. The Devils wound up winning the game 5-4.
Yep.
A lot of Islander fans were on social media after that game calling for Lane Lambert's job. And I can't blame them because this team is blowing leads.
I hate to say this. Maybe Lou Lamoriello, we say goodbye to Lou. Because
that's not going to change anything.
I know that, brother, but maybe it says, okay, you're next, coach. Because something is not happening with this team.
If you bring in a new GM, a new GM is going to want to bring in his own coach.
Yeah, but he's not going to do it during the season. So
then what's the point in changing the GM now?
Because you want to make a point. Anyway, so the Islanders right now are just,
the new GM is going to be Lou's son. I mean, that's already been established.
Well, maybe that's something we should also talk about.
Anyway,
later.
brother, Matthew Barzal with a goal and 3 assists, and the Islanders beat Carolina 5-4 in overtime on Thursday.
Yep.
And then Saturday night, Julien Gauthier, brother.
Yes.
I had no idea who he was. Apparently he played for the Rangers last year.
Okay.
But he scored early in the third period, and Sorokin made 42 saves as the Islanders held on for a 4-3 win. So that's 2 wins in a row, and the Islanders have suddenly moved up into a tie for third place in the Metropolitan. Very tight division.
Well, it's actually tied for 4th with the Capitals.
I'm saying third.
Yeah, well, by points they have more games played. That's why. Rangers, God, 18-4.
They got injury problems, though.
Yeah, but they're in first place in the Metropolitan. The Devils are now in. They're in what, 7th place now?
Yeah, like I said, it's a very tight division,
and they're over 500.
Yes,
everyone is over 500 except for the Blue Jackets.
Good division, so it's tight division.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun year for the Islander fans. Anyway, coming up next at 10 o'clock, Big Ed Newlands is here. He has said, "Rob, I am ready. I've got my coffee." And last week, if you remember, I said I'm going to take the coffee away from Ed. I tried to do that. I've never seen Ed angry in my life. I've known Ed for a long time. He sometimes gets angry, but not like angry like he's going to choke me because I took his coffee. So this week I'm not going to take his coffee.
He was almost as angry as a Manchester City fan on Sunday.
Oh, of course, brother. So anyway, listen to Big Ed. He's the happiest guy I know because he's got his coffee and he's ready to play the greatest hits of all time. So, you know what I should do? I'll switch the coffee out with water.
I think he would notice.
Make it Jack Daniels.
Yeah, baby. The basement. 3 hours of musicradio.com. 6 drinks of Jack Daniels in 3 hours. That's a whole other story.
Yeah,
anyway,
we'll tell it another time.
We'll tell it another time. I'm Rob Leonard. He's Tim Leonard. This is From the Press Box. This will be a podcast later on. Thank you for listening. Take care and bye-bye.